So my name is Hayley Ramsay-Jones and I work for Soccer Gakkai International. We are a partner organisation of the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, and I work with them as a campaigner. So nuclear weapons are problematic because by nature they are genocidal. If we think about the willingness of a group of people or a nation to destroy in whole or in part another group of people or another nation, to obliterate their culture, their way of life, to destroy their religious, ethnic, racial identities. This is the very definition of genocide, and that's xenophobic and racist. Yeah, countries like the UK, the US and France have unapologetically dropped their bombs, their nuclear waste, and tested on non-white populations in Africa and Asia Pacific, also on poor peoples and indigenous peoples' lands in the US and Australia. These countries that call themselves nuclear responsible states have done so without acknowledging or given any reparation for people living in Kiribati, in Fiji, in French Polynesia, and the Marshall Islands, where we still see inexplicably high levels of cancers and also birth defects and uninhabitable spaces. Yeah, so initial research that was done on the impact on humans of nuclear weapons was only ever done on the standard height male body, which is problematic in itself. Later research was done on women and children's bodies. There's some research done by Mary Olson on this, who shows that women and children suffer more severe effects. If you look at women's reproductive tissues, for example, and other issues, they have more severe effects and more severe harm on their bodies, and also children, of course, who are still developing suffer more severely than the standard height male body. So, I mean, I'm not sure that enough is being made. I think that certainly not enough is being made in terms of governments and some of our institutions that should be looking at this. But I think even we as civil society, I think those of us who are working in peace and disarmament have a responsibility to also promote peace and disarmament in our work. And I think this is often very difficult to do, but we tend to replicate some of the same discriminatory structures and practices and behaviours as those institutions and governments that we try to change. And you know, I think that's a learning process for all of us, but I think that we can look at intersectionality and try to have a more intersectional approach to our work, which will help us identify whose voices are not being heard and where there might be inequalities and misuse of power within our own organisations. And I think this will then help us better address the social injustices in the world at large, and nuclear weapons being the biggest social injustice of them all.